Chapter 18. As I walk into the living room, I see Kelly standing there, and something unexplainable happens. For the first time in my life, I truly see her through God's eyes. Within seconds, my mind fills with thoughts of conviction about how bad of a husband I had been all of those years. It fills me with thoughts of our children. It fills with thoughts of our life together. And I realize how much I truly love her and how much she loves me. I am completely overwhelmed as my life flashes before my eyes in a matter of seconds. And the full power of the love of God completely envelops me. I no longer have any strength in my body to stand. I drop to my knees and cry out from the depth of my soul in gut-wrenching brokenness, not a cry of pain or sorrow, but of indescribable joy, thankfulness, and humbleness all at once. An uncontrollable cry that I could not stop even if I had wanted to. But I didn't want to, because in that moment, God revealed himself to me. I was truly in the presence of God. Now, trying to describe what it is like to truly be in the presence of God is a very difficult thing to do. My vocabulary doesn't contain any words worthy of using to even try and describe what that experience is like. When you're in the presence of God, all of your emotions occur at the same time, and it is truly overwhelming. Being in the presence of God is truly experiencing heaven on earth. There is no greater joy that can possibly describe the word joy greater than that of truly being in the presence of God. Being in His presence and truly knowing without any doubt that He is real is something that will forever change you. I have no idea how much time went by before I was able to speak again. I can only imagine what was going through Kelly's mind after seeing me walk through the door at 11 a.m. on a Friday morning and visually seeing and hearing me experience all of this, especially being that I wasn't someone that ever cried, not in front of her anyway. She must have thought something really terrible had happened in order for me to be doing what I was doing. Eventually, at some point, I was able to get a few words out in between breaths and said, "Everything is great. This is amazing." I don't know if that's exactly how I said that. I can't repeat that exact experience. But after the crying had subsided enough to regain my composure, this undeniable realization came over me that God was real. I had absolutely no doubt, none. God was real, Jesus was real, and at that moment, I wanted nothing more in the world than to tell everyone that they were. It was truly as if a blindfold had been removed from my eyes. "I can see! I can truly see!" I began to tell Kelly. "God is real! I've got to tell the world about Jesus! Jesus is real! This is amazing!" I began thinking about people in my life that also truly knew that God was real. I wanted to be able to tell them what had happened, that I had been truly saved, that God had revealed himself to me. When you truly see God, you truly cannot help but want to shout it from the rooftops. I had a thought about sharing my experience with my pastor. Surely he would understand what had happened to me, I thought. So I called him and I told him that something amazing had happened and asked him if I could come to the church and speak with him about it. To my dismay, he told me that he was about to leave the church and didn't have time to wait on me to get there. I couldn't let it go at that. I just couldn't. I needed to speak to someone that truly knew God and knew Jesus. "I really need to speak with you," I said. "Can I just meet you on the side of the road in the direction you're heading?" He reluctantly agreed, and we picked out a spot in the direction he was going. Thankfully, it was right down the road from my house. I was sitting there in my vehicle when he pulled into the parking lot. He smiled at me as he was getting out of his car, and he came and got into mine. As soon as I looked at him, the floodgate opened again. I couldn't contain it. My emotions were just so overwhelmed. After composing myself, I began to try in my best vocabulary possible to explain to him what had happened to me. I guess I had expected a very different reaction from him during and after my explanation of everything. He just kind of looked at me with confusion and disbelief. Based on his facial expressions and mannerisms and response, I could easily tell that he had never experienced God in that way. I remember being so let down and disappointed driving home. At some point, I guess I remembered that we were supposed to have left to go pick my mom up, and I asked Kelly to call her and tell her that we were going to be delayed in coming to her house. Mom said, "Look, if it's okay with y'all, instead of y'all coming to clean the house, how about I just come stay with y'all for a few days? I really want to hear more about what just happened, and I'll worry about this house when I come back." So we hopped in the car and we headed to get her. I remember nothing about the trip, but I'm sure I didn't stop talking the whole way there and the whole way back. I just couldn't stop talking about what had happened to me.